Introduction. Clarify your message. Amplify your brand. In a noisy world filled with endless advertising, most businesses don't fail because their products are bad. They fail because their message is unclear. Building a Story Brand by Donald Miller teaches that success in business isn't about shouting louder. It's about speaking clearly. At its heart, marketing is storytelling. Every brand is telling a story, whether they realize it or not. But here's the problem. Most companies make themselves the hero of the story. They talk about their history, their awards, their features, and the customer tunes out. Why? Because people aren't looking for another hero. They're looking for a guide to help them win their own story. Miller's Story Brand framework turns the customer into the hero and the brand into the guide. The result is a clear, compelling message that resonates, sells, and sticks. Through this audiobook summary, we'll explore 9 key ideas that form the Story Brand method, a system used by thousands of entrepreneurs and global brands to grow their audience, increase sales, and build trust. From understanding customer needs and defining a clear problem, to crafting a plan and calling customers to action, you'll learn how to make your brand's message simple, emotional, and unforgettable. Because if you confuse, you lose. But when you clarify your message, you invite your customers into a story that changes everything. Chapter 1. Clarity wins. Speak to your customers' needs. If you want to grow your business, don't start with a new logo or a fancy website. Start with a clear message. The truth is, most businesses lose customers not because of price or product quality, but because people simply don't understand what they offer. Donald Miller says that great marketing is not about decoration. It's about communication. If your message is confusing, your audience will stop listening. People don't have time to figure out what you do. They'll move on to a brand that explains it clearly. Every successful brand communicates 3 things quickly and simply: who you are, what you offer, how it helps the customer survive or thrive. That last part, survival, is crucial. As humans, we're wired to pay attention to information that helps us eat, stay safe, connect, and feel valued. Miller draws from psychologist Abraham Maslow's hierarchy of needs, reminding us that customers care most about products that solve real, human problems like security, belonging, or self-worth. For example, imagine you run a house painting company. You might think your service is about color and technique, but your customers are really buying something deeper: pride, belonging, and comfort. Instead of saying, "We offer high-quality residential painting," say, "We make your home the best-looking house on the street, a place you're proud to show off." That's a survival-level message. It appeals to the customer's need to be part of a community and to feel confident. In the Story Brand approach, clarity is currency. The simpler your message, the faster people connect with it, and the more they trust you. Remember, confused customers don't buy, but clear ones do. Chapter 2. Your customer is the hero, not your brand. Every great story has a hero, and it's never the brand. In building a story brand, Donald Miller flips traditional marketing on its head. Your customer is the hero, and you are the guide. Most companies make a common mistake. They talk too much about themselves. Their website, ads, and emails focus on their history, values, and achievements. But in storytelling, no audience connects to a hero who brags about himself. People care about their own problems, not your brand's resume. Miller reminds us that when brands position themselves as the hero, they accidentally compete with the customer for attention. But when they act as the guide, everything changes. The customer feels seen, supported, and understood, and that's when trust begins. Think of classic stories. Star Wars has Luke Skywalker and Yoda. The Lord of the Rings has Frodo and Gandalf. The hero wants transformation. The guide provides the wisdom and tools. Your brand must play the same role, not the star, but the mentor who helps the customer win. As Miller puts it, when you stop talking about yourself and start talking about your customers' problems, they listen. To apply this, shape your message around your customer's journey. Who is your hero? What challenge are they facing? How can your product or service help them succeed? For example, instead of saying, "We design websites," say, "We help small businesses attract more customers online." You just shifted from being the focus to being the helper. In a StoryBrand framework, humility sells. The hero doesn't want another hero, they want a guide. Make your customer the star, and they'll invite you into their story. Chapter 3. Define the problem. The real reason customers listen. Every story begins with a problem, something that disturbs the hero's world and forces them to take action. In building a story brand, Donald Miller explains that customers don't buy the best products. They buy solutions to their problems. If your brand doesn't clearly define the problem it solves, people won't listen. Miller identifies 3 levels of problems your brand must address. External problems, the practical, surface-level issue your product solves. Internal problems, the frustration or emotional struggle caused by that issue. Philosophical problems, the bigger why, the sense of fairness or meaning behind it all. For example, suppose you sell fitness coaching. The external problem is simple. Your clients are out of shape. The internal problem is deeper. They feel tired, unconfident, and stuck. The philosophical problem gives it weight. No one should have to live feeling trapped in their own body. When you speak to all 3 levels, customers feel understood. They stop seeing you as another business and start seeing you as someone who gets it. This is how emotion enters your marketing. Not through hype, but through empathy. By naming the real pain your customers feel, you connect with them at a human level. In every great story, the guide recognizes the hero's struggle and says, "I've been there, and I know how to help." Your marketing should do the same. Brands that skip this step talk in features and facts. Brands that embrace it speak in feelings and outcomes, and win loyalty. Remember, customers don't want to solve your problem. They want you to solve theirs. Define it clearly, and they'll keep listening. Chapter 4. Be the guide. Build trust with empathy and authority. In every story, the hero meets a guide, someone who understands their struggle and knows the way forward. In the StoryBrand framework, that guide is you. Donald Miller emphasizes that customers don't buy from the brand that shouts the loudest. They buy from the brand they trust most. And trust is built on 2 pillars, empathy and authority. Empathy means showing that you understand the customer's pain. It's the emotional connection that tells them you're not alone. When you say, "We know how frustrating it is to waste money on marketing that doesn't work," you're not selling, you're relating. Empathy earns attention. Authority means proving you can solve the problem. It's not about bragging or listing every credential. It's about demonstrating credibility through results, testimonials, or simple evidence of success. A few well-placed examples of satisfied clients or measurable outcomes say more than paragraphs of self-praise. Together, empathy and authority form what Miller calls the voice of the guide. Customers need both: reassurance that you care and confidence that you can deliver. Consider how great movie mentors do this. In The Karate Kid, Mr. Miyagi doesn't just know karate. He also understands Daniel's insecurities. His wisdom is equal parts compassion and competence, and that's why the hero listens. Your brand must do the same. You are not the hero of your story. Your customer is. But when you combine empathy with authority, they'll invite you to guide them. In a world crowded with noise, brands that connect emotionally and lead confidently rise above the rest. Show that you care. Prove that you can help. That's how trust and transformation begins. Chapter 5. The plan. Show customers a clear path forward. Even when customers trust you, they won't take action unless they know exactly what to do next. That's why every story and every brand message needs a plan. Donald Miller explains that people don't buy when they're confused. They buy when they feel safe. A simple, easy-to-follow plan turns hesitation into confidence. Without one, even the best marketing can fail. Think of the guide in any great movie. They never hand the hero a vague idea. They give them steps. Yoda trains Luke Skywalker. Gandalf outlines Frodo's quest. In business, your customers need the same kind of direction. Miller identifies 2 types of plans that build trust. The process plan, a short, step-by-step guide explaining how to do business with you. For example, schedule a free consultation. Get a personalized quote. Enjoy your beautifully painted home. Simple, clear, and reassuring. The agreement plan, a list of promises or commitments that reduce fear. For instance, we respect your time, we keep our prices transparent, and we guarantee satisfaction. A great plan answers the unspoken question in every customer's mind. What happens if I say yes? When the process feels safe and predictable, people move forward. You don't need a complex system or fancy language, just steps that anyone can follow. The moment a customer sees how easy it is to win, they'll take the first step. In storytelling and in business, clarity builds momentum. A simple plan bridges the gap between curiosity and commitment, turning interest into action. So guide your customers step by step, because a clear plan doesn't just sell, it leads them to success. Chapter 6, Call to Action. Invite customers to take the next step. You can have the clearest message and the best product in the world, but if you never ask your customers to act, they probably won't. Donald Miller calls this the most common mistake in marketing. Brands hint instead of inviting. In every great story, the guide eventually looks the hero in the eye and says, "It's time to act." That's what your brand must do. People rarely move without a clear invitation. Miller identifies two kinds of calls to action. Direct calls to action, strong, simple requests that leave no doubt about what to do next. Examples: buy now, book a call, start your free trial. These are the moments when you confidently ask for the sale. Transitional calls to action, smaller, low-risk invitations that build trust before the sale. Examples: download our free guide, join our newsletter, or watch this short demo. These keep your brand top of mind until the customer is ready to commit. Most businesses bury these calls under vague language like "learn more" or "contact us." But successful brands place them front and center, repeated across every platform: website, emails, ads, and videos. Why? Because clarity drives conversion. Psychologically, people need a nudge to move from interest to decision. A strong call to action provides that energy. It tells the brain, this is what to do next. You are the guide, and your job is to lead, not wait. Never be shy about asking customers to take the next step. They're looking for direction, not decoration. So make your invitation bold, clear, and consistent. Because in both storytelling and sales, transformation only happens when the hero says yes. Chapter 7, Avoid Failure. Show what's at stake if customers don't act. Every powerful story contains stakes, something to win and something to lose. Without stakes, there's no tension, and without tension, there's no motivation. In business, the same rule applies. Customers won't buy from you unless they understand what's at risk if they don't. Donald Miller explains that people are naturally driven to avoid loss. Psychologists call this loss aversion. In simple terms, fear of failure often motivates us more than hope of success. So as a brand, you must gently remind customers what could go wrong if they stay where they are. This doesn't mean using fear tactics or negativity. It means being honest about the problem your product solves and the consequences of inaction. For instance, if you're a financial advisor, you might say, without a clear retirement plan, you risk outliving your savings. Or if you offer cybersecurity services, without protection, one attack could cost your business everything. The point isn't to scare people, it's to clarify urgency. Every hero in a story acts because something valuable is at stake: their freedom, their family, or their future. Your customer needs to feel that same sense of importance. Miller suggests weaving both potential success and potential failure into your brand story. What happens if they say yes? Success, confidence, peace of mind. What happens if they say no? Loss, frustration, wasted opportunity. By defining both, you help customers visualize the consequences of their choice, and that clarity drives action. If you leave out the risk, you remove the reason to move. Show your customers the stakes, then guide them toward the victory they deserve. Chapter 8. Paint the picture of success. Show customers the happy ending. Every story and every sale needs a vision of success. After all, people don't buy products, they buy better versions of themselves. Donald Miller calls this the happy ending of your brand story. The transformation your customer experiences once they say yes to you. Once you've defined the problem and shown what's at stake, your next job as the guide is to paint the reward. What does life look like after working with you? What changes? What improves? Miller explains that successful brands make this image vivid. Don't just tell customers they'll save time or feel better. Show them what that means. Use language that appeals to their emotions and imagination. For example, instead of "you'll have a clean home," say "come home to calm." Instead of "you'll get more clients," say "watch your business grow while you focus on what you love." The clearer and more emotional the image, the stronger the desire to act. Humans are visual storytellers by nature. We respond to outcomes we can see, feel, and believe in. That's why great movie endings are so powerful. They don't just show success, they make you feel it. In business, your product is the bridge between the customer's current frustration and their ideal future. Your message must highlight that transformation in a single, memorable scene. A happy ending gives people hope, and hope moves them to action. So help your customers imagine what victory looks like. Show them how their lives will improve. Make them see that their story can end well, and that you're the guide who can take them there. Chapter 9. Unite all the elements. Tell a consistent story everywhere. By now, you've crafted a clear message, one that defines your customer as the hero, identifies their problem, positions your brand as the guide, and lays out a simple plan leading to success. The final step is to make sure this story is consistent across every platform. Donald Miller explains that many companies do the hard work of clarifying their message, but then scatter it across dozens of disconnected touchpoints. Their website says one thing, their ads say another, and their social media posts say something else entirely. This confuses the customer, and as Miller reminds us, if you confuse, you lose. Your StoryBrand message should act like a North Star, guiding all communication, from your homepage and emails to your elevator pitch and sales presentations. Every piece of content should reinforce the same narrative. The customer is the hero. You understand their problem. You have a clear plan to help them win. The result is transformation and success. Repetition doesn't weaken a brand, it strengthens it. Just like great movies revisit key themes, great businesses repeat their core message until it becomes unmistakable. To ensure consistency, Miller recommends creating a brand script, a one-page summary of your story elements that everyone in your organization can use. When your entire team speaks the same language, customers experience your brand as clear, confident, and trustworthy. Consistency builds credibility, and credibility builds conversion. Your message should echo everywhere your audience listens, simple, aligned, and emotionally resonant. When every channel tells the same story, your brand becomes unforgettable. Clarity isn't a one-time exercise, it's a daily discipline. Stay consistent, and your story will spread itself. Conclusion: clarity tells, confusion sells nothing. Building a story brand isn't just a marketing book. It's a communication blueprint for every entrepreneur, creator, or company that wants to be understood. Donald Miller's message is simple. When you clarify your message, people listen. The StoryBrand framework transforms marketing from noise into narrative. A clear, emotionally resonant story where the customer is the hero and you are the guide. Here are the 9 timeless lessons to remember. Clarity wins. A confused customer never buys. Speak simply and directly to your customer's needs. The customer is the hero. Your role is not to impress, it's to guide. Define the problem. Identify both the external and emotional challenges your customer faces. Show empathy and authority. Let people know you understand their pain and can lead them out of it. Give a plan. Create a clear, step-by-step path so they know exactly how to win. Call them to action. Be bold. People only move when invited to act. Show the stakes. Make it clear what happens if they do nothing. Paint the happy ending. Help them imagine the transformation your brand makes possible. Stay consistent. Repeat your story everywhere until it becomes unmistakable. When you build your brand like a story, your marketing stops feeling forced and starts feeling human. Because people don't buy the best products, they buy the ones they understand fastest. So tell a story that's clear, kind, and consistent. Let your customers be the heroes, and you'll build a brand that lasts. Until next time, thank you for listening. Keep your story simple, keep your message clear, and keep guiding your heroes toward success.